Good news can often get overlooked or buried by the negative in our everyday lives. So let's change that. I'm Adriana.
And I'm Wyatt.
We're just two ordinary people without any special qualifications or anything, trying to navigate life. We invite you to join us as we share wholesome stories, news articles of hope, and ideas about how we can all make the world just a little bit brighter. We are Uplifting Positive Stories. Welcome back to another episode of Uplifting Positive Stories. Thanks for joining us, everybody.
Hope everybody's 2026 is going good so far as we're barreling towards the end of the first month.
Yes. I wonder how everybody's New Year's resolutions are doing. Usually around this time is where sometimes they fall off the wayside. Sometimes we keep them going. Hopefully we're going strong.
Mine is going so well.
Which was yours again?
I didn't make one.
There you go.
That's how I know it's going well. To be a father, I don't know, because that's coming up.
There you go. There you go. Well, today's episode is going to be a really happy one. This one's all about boosting others up. So boosting people's self-esteem, whether that be the things that we say, things that we do, ways of making people feel better about themselves, like they are valued and like they matter. So yeah, we got a bunch of little short stories here that I think just will put a smile on people's faces today.
A pick-me-up episode?
A little pick-me-up episode. It's very sweet.
In case your 2026 is going a little rough right now.
Yes. Hopefully put a smile on your face. So our first one for today comes from the subreddit Benign Existence. And it is titled, My Grandpa Forgot to Hang Up the Phone and I Heard Him Tell Everyone How Proud of Me He Is.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, I mean right away from the title. Wholesome. Mm-hmm. Here we go. I've been traveling a lot for work lately, and today I got back home, and I got a call from my grandpa asking how my trip went and wishing me a good night. My grandpa is notoriously bad at using his phone, and he always forgets to hang up after a call. So I tend to hang up first, but today I stayed to listen because when he thought I wasn't listening anymore, he started telling his siblings how he had called to check on me because I'm so important at my job that they're always sending me on these trips to other countries, and how he prays to God every night that I stay safe on these trips, and how thankful he is that I always answer his calls and invite him over to my house for lunch and take care of him, and how special I am to him. I always worry that my family might not know how much I love them because I don't say it very often, so this reassured me that he definitely knows.
That's sweet.
Isn't that really sweet?
I'm really glad that's the direction it went and not the other way.
Right.
Where it's like, he never calls me or brings me over. Like, no, it sounds like a really loving relationship. Like, that's wholesome.
That's so wholesome. Like, so sweet that they always answer his calls and invites him over and how much it means to him. That's really sweet. Anyways, very sweet way to start off the episode. All right. Now, I found a thread and it fit really well for this episode. So a lot of stories from this thread. They're very short, but they're all good. So this subreddit was Ask Reddit, and someone had asked the question, what's your most wholesome secret? And these were the comments people made. All right, ready? One of them says, during the middle of my junior year of high school, a girl transferred from another nearby school because she was bullied and harassed both in person and online. Ah, the days of Ask.fm and Formspring. After a lot of digging online, I found her old Ask.fm and eventually used a variation of her URL to find her Tumblr. After scrolling through her blog, I found out she was actually super into singing and that her idol was Hayley Williams, the lead singer of Paramore. So one day in class, I casually said that she reminds me of this singer from a band that I like, and the look of absolute joy on her face when I said Hayley Williams from Paramore was absolutely incredible. After that, she was visibly way more comfortable and confident, and she even got a few people together to rehearse as a band. They played at our school's talent show senior year, and the first song of their set was by Paramore. Yeah.
I missed. So what was the relationship between OP and
They were just another junior in their high school.
Okay.
And they were like, oh, this girl seems like she's kind of shy. And like she was, I found out that she was bullied at her other school.
Okay.
And so I did a little bit of digging to find out a little bit about her. And I found out she loves Hayley Williams from Paramore. And so I told her that she reminds me of her.
That's nice.
Isn't that sweet? Yeah.
That's some effort for that level of kindness.
Yeah. I thought that was really sweet and really cool. So the next comment someone made, this is a short one, but sweet. I read a news story about a valedictorian who made a fake Instagram account and wrote positive comments to people from his school. So I did the same.
Okay.
I'm like, that's really cool. Making a fake Instagram account just to put nice positive comments on people's photos and stuff. Like, that's really sweet and thoughtful. Like, I don't know. Like, you often hear the opposite of people being trolls and stuff and making fake accounts to troll people.
Yeah.
So seeing the flip side of that.
Anonymity, you know?
Yeah, but to see the opposite of that.
Be kind through anonymity.
Because that can mean a lot when you don't know who it's from and stuff like that, too. Like, I think that's really cool.
Yeah.
So, anyways, short one, but cool. Next one here. A lot of these are high schoolers in these comments, and I'm like, dang, these kids are so wholesome. All right.
Focus on those ones.
Yeah. In high school, my class participated in the red paperclip challenge. Basically, you start with a paperclip, and you trade with people in order to get something better. We were supposed to trade like 8 to 10 times, and each day we shared what we traded up for. One of the days, a classmate of mine shared that he had made a homemade rap CD from a very unpopular and heavily bullied boy in my grade. Aw. People laughed and tried to trade him for it, but he wouldn't trade. I knew he had plans to make fun of the boy with it. That's so sad. So that night, I went to the store, and I bought 3 family-sized resealable Oreo cookie packages. I told my classes that I'd traded up for it. I offered to trade him the next morning, and he immediately agreed. He gave me a funny look as we traded. The bullied boy saw the exchange and was so happy that I wanted his CD so badly. His smile was the biggest and brightest I've ever seen. I even heard him bragging about it later. It was my last day, and I wasn't allowed to trade anymore after that. I may not have traded for the coolest material item, but every time I think back to that boy's face lighting up, it makes me smile. His happiness was the best thing I could have traded for.
Can you explain the challenge to me a little bit
simpler,
like I'm 5?
So basically what happens is you start out with a paperclip, and all the students go around with a red paperclip, and they try to trade somebody. So like say a kid goes up to another kid and goes, hey, I've got this nice red paperclip. I'll give it to you for your pencil eraser. And then they get an eraser. And then they go to another person. They're like, hey, I have this nice eraser. I'll give it to you for that pen. And they trade for a pen, and they keep trying to trade for a little bit nicer of an item in their mind until the last item, and then they do like a little report on like how they were able to talk up their item and get someone to make an exchange for it to like get something nicer.
Sounds a little con artisty a little bit, but
I mean, it's about like business.
Then how does that relate to the bullied kid?
So what happened was one of the kids that was part of this challenge had a rap CD that they had traded to this kid that they had made, and this kid, this bully, was basically like, ha ha ha, isn't that so stupid that he gave this to me? And so the bully gave him the CD? No, the kid, he traded for it to have it so he could make fun of it.
Okay.
And then the OP of this story went and bought some Oreos and like 3 packages of Oreos, was like, I really want that CD. I'll trade you 3 packs of Oreos that I traded up for that CD. And the bullied kid that made the CD saw that. And so they were like, wow, they were willing to trade 3 boxes of Oreos for my CD that I made.
Can I just say, this bully sucks at bullying?
Yeah.
Like you're the one who traded for it, dude. Like, what do you mean? Like you trade up for that, and you're like, ha, look at this stupid thing that I traded for. You're dissing yourself. You're a terrible bully. It also lets me. I have mean intentions, you know.
Exactly.
I think that's why I was confused. I was like, I don't understand. Like, if he traded up for it, why is he making fun of the kid who he traded it for when he's the one who traded for? I'm just like imagine the math symbols around me right now, like trying to understand this bully logic. Bully logic doesn't make sense. Bully logic doesn't
always make sense.
Just be kind.
But think like. That moment though, like that kid made that CD and he's like, wow, they were willing to trade 3 packages of Oreos for this CD I made. Like, that's really, really sweet. Yeah. And like the fact that this high schooler had that thought that like, I'm gonna go out and buy some Oreos to like make this kid feel good about this CD he made. Like, that's so mature and so sweet. Like, that's an extra level that they went to try to help this situation. And like, I don't know. I think it's really, really sweet.
Well, maybe understand what the challenge was. I think Dwight and Lily did this in the office.
Yes, he did. I'm pretty sure.
Until Jim tricked him with the magic bean to trade for.
Yes, I remember this episode of The Office. That was funny. But yeah,
in that case, Jim was the kind of the bully.
True.
Though Dwight was being kind of rude throughout the whole negotiations.
Oh, goodness. Anywho. All right, our next one here. Someone said, my friend and I wrote motivational quotes on Post-it notes and hid them in library books. Coincidentally, my brother's classmate, who is 2 years my junior, found one of it in a literature book and posted it on Instagram with the caption, Whoever did this, thank you. I'm going through a rough patch, and this quote just happens to lift me up in my situation. I liked the picture, but I never said anything about it. Yeah. So, uplifting people anonymously. Very cool. In middle school, this is another story. In middle school, everyone always got their locker decorated for their birthday. And since it was a small school, if you didn't, you were pretty much a loser. Anyway, so there was a kid who was super weird and annoying. He had no friends, so he just made nicknames for everyone that he met. It was honestly kind of sad, despite knowing how annoying he was. A few friends and I decorated his locker, and he was the happiest I'd ever seen him for a week. That kid became a big college football stud, just to give some of you guys some hope. But, yeah.
I'd say I was half of a nice story. I felt like he just calls him annoying the entire time. Like, okay, like, I mean, you still did a nice gesture, but, like, come on.
Yeah,
like,
but it could be also, like, maybe he was being kind of obnoxiously rude. Like, you know what I mean? Sometimes kids for attention, so maybe that's what she meant by being, or this person meant by them being annoying.
Maybe. It just sounds mean.
I mean, it does sound mean.
And
but
it's an unnecessary adjective. You could just say the story and not have to call them annoying throughout it. You know?
Either way, I still, like, wanted to include, because, like, that's sweet that they decorated his locker anonymously.
Yeah, the act is still nice.
Yeah, it's very.
Assuming that they were
nice.
happy with it as well.
Well, it said that they were the happiest that they'd ever seen him.
Yeah, there you go. So that
it meant
nice
a lot.
gesture.
Yeah.
Maybe don't describe him that way.
Next one here. Before my father died of cancer, he used to like to walk the Florida beaches every morning, combing for nice new shells. My wife and I conspired to purchase a nice shell at the beach shop and distract him while one of us planted it in his projected path so that he could find it. Probably the kind of thing he would have done for me when I was a kid.
That's cute.
Yeah, sweet.
For a moment, I thought it was gonna be just this buy him a nice shell. I'm like, well, no, it's about the hunt for it. But
yeah,
they planted it for
him to find. It's like people that go agate hunting, like trying to find
which is pretty big up.
Agate.
Pretty big up in northern Minnesota.
Yeah, so it's fun. But yeah, on to our news article for today. So this one comes from cbc.ca, and it is titled "Courthouse Canines Help Ease the Tension, One Tail Wag at a Time." So basically, this story is about a therapy group that trains dogs called Just Paws, PAWS. And they work in schools, hospitals, care homes, and the city's court system. And they're trying to help calm victims, witnesses, and other participants in the courtroom, oftentimes that are dealing with a really difficult time going through the court cases. So they bring in the therapy dogs into the courtroom. They accompany the victims and witnesses from their first meetings with the prosecutors all the way through the trial, so they get to know the dog throughout the whole thing, and they sit next to them so they can pet them during the trial. And then sometimes they'll even bring the dogs into the waiting areas, meeting rooms, and sometimes right into the courtroom for the stuff. So one of the handlers says most people start smiling as soon as they see him, the dog. It calms people down when they're very stressed, very nervous about testifying. Youth mental health court has been one of their big stops. They do a lot, especially to help with them feeling comfortable. There's a golden retriever named Alice that sits with young people in that courtroom for that. And the handler said they're stressed. They don't know what the judge is going to say. And having the dog sit down beside them, nudge them, or rest upon their leg, it changes the mindset that the child has.
Dogs do have a calming effect.
For sure, 100%. Some of the dogs also work at a drug treatment court. Where participants have to appear weekly to discuss their progress. So that's pretty cool. Let's see here. For those leading investigations like Ottawa Police Constable, they also mention that for the people that are leading investigations often mention that they've noticed that people that are calmer, witnesses, tend to give clearer testimonies. And they say that having the dog tends to have a calming effect, and so they get clearer testimonies from those people typically too. So it's a win-win in that situation as well. Any way that we can lower the stress is key, is what the investigator said. So kind of a wholesome idea, and it'd be cool if more courtrooms would do stuff like that, partner with that. I think that's a great idea.
I'm sure it's a budget thing, you know?
Yeah, but especially like for like family court situations or like youth court, like that's really a cool idea. Very cool. And then one more here, news article. This one comes from news.mit.edu. This one is titled "Non-invasive imaging could replace finger pricks for people with diabetes."
Okay.
So this is huge. So this has been like they created an invention, and now they're testing it out, and they're hoping to roll it out eventually. But basically what it does is it uses a Raman spectroscopy. I hope I'm saying that correctly. But it uses infrared light, near infrared or visible light, to be able to detect and measure blood glucose levels without the use of needles. Originally, when they developed it, it was like the size of a shoebox, this device. So not super practical at that stage for having and carrying around with you, but it worked. In tests in a healthy volunteer, they found that the measurements from that device they created were similar to those obtained by commercial continuous glucose monitoring sensors, which require a wire to be implanted under the skin. So they found it worked similarly. And then they've been trying to develop a smaller wearable version now that they are testing in a smaller clinical study. So they reported a breakthrough that allowed them to measure these glucose Raman signals. In a clinical study that they performed at the MIT Center for Clinical Translation Research, the researchers used the new device to take readings from a healthy volunteer over a 4-hour period. The subject consumed 2 75-gram glucose drinks, which I'm like, dang, that's a lot. I had to do a 50-gram one for my gestational diabetes test, and that was a lot. So,
flat Sprite.
that's a lot. And then they monitored significant changes in their blood glucose concentration. They found that the Raman-based device showed accuracy levels similar to those of 2 commercially available invasive glucose monitors worn by the subject.
Okay.
So it worked pretty well. And since finishing that study, they've developed a smaller prototype about the size of a cell phone that they're currently now testing as a wearable monitor in healthy and pre-diabetic volunteers. And next year, they plan to do a larger study with a local hospital, which will include people with diabetes. And they're working to eventually make the device even smaller to about the size of a watch, so they could wear it like a watch and not have to prick their fingers, not have to have a wire under the skin. It'd be non-invasive, and it would measure it just as well as the wire under the skin that they have right now as an option. So, yeah, I think that's super, super cool.
It's like having a smartwatch, you know?
Yeah.
To track that for. I'm already amazed what Apple Watches and other smartwatches can do in terms of your heart rate and tracking your sleep, and breathing and stuff like that, you know?
Yeah, think about how if you're having to prick your finger multiple times a day, not having to have that, and instead just being able to wear like a watch that just is using infrared light every few times a day, testing that through that would be incredible. So super cool breakthrough, and just crazy to think what are, and not just for diabetes, but for a ton of other medical issues, what solutions are we going to find and have better solutions for in the next 10, 20 years, Pretty crazy to think about, and really, really cool.
Can spare all the finger prickings.
Yeah, right? No kidding. I know that for me, when I was doing my gestational diabetes test, thinking about having to do that, I was like, oh, that sounds really rough and really scary. I don't want to have to do that. So I can't imagine if that is something that you're already living with, having this as an option would be incredible. I can only imagine. So
yeah,
really cool. I like to share medical discoveries because I think it's really, really exciting whenever there's a big breakthrough like that. So yeah,
it'd be crazy to imagine what the breakthrough is going to be in the next, even the next decade.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Super cool.
I know you're even just going through this pregnancy, your parents have been whoa at some of the ultrasound and stuff, the technology
compared to what they had back then. Yeah, the 3D imaging that they can get and stuff with the babies and stuff, and it's wild.
Yeah, or even now having the things we got on our registry that was heart rate monitors and stuff,
the owlet sock. It's a little sock that goes on their foot, and if their oxygen level or their heart rate drops below a certain amount, an alarm goes off, and it also tracks their sleep cycle, so you can see when they're in and out of sleep. It's wild. It's crazy. It's
to
really
give a
cool.
lot of peace of mind to try to avoid SIDS and stuff like that.
Right. Yeah. So it's crazy, technology and developments and stuff like that. There's a lot of positive. We hear about a lot of bad advances of things like AI and stuff like that. But I think it's important that we also recognize that there are strides that are being made in positive ways with technology that we should talk about because it's exciting. Super cool.
Yeah.
So yeah. And with that, we will end today's podcast episode. Tune in a couple weeks for our Valentine's Day episode. We got some very cute Valentine's Day stories, some love stories. It's going to be a good time.
Including that's our 10-year anniversary, too.
Yeah, I know. It's crazy.
And we'll probably have a child at that point. So
if we don't already, who knows? We're recording this ahead of time, so we might already have a baby at this point. I don't know.
Maybe.
Who knows? But yeah,
maybe. We definitely should by then, or right around that time.
Yes. If you have any positive stories that you'd like us to share on this podcast, we'd love to hear them. Please send them to us at upliftingpositivestories@gmail.com.
And if you're watching on YouTube, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button and leave a comment. And if you're listening on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, please Leave us a review if you're enjoying the show. Those would really help us boost the show's presence and
so pops up when people search for it or we're looking for positive content. That would be amazing.
Help us spread the positivity, the uplifting stories, and also share some with us. We like them.
We do. It makes us super excited to get them. Awesome. Well, thanks for listening, and we hope you have a great rest of your week.
And stay positive.